The Adewale family was the envy of Lagos. Femi, a successful businessman, and his wife, Tola, a devoted mother and entrepreneur, had built a life many could only dream of. Their 3 children, David, a 25-year-old lawyer, Anna, a 22-year-old final-year university student, and Timi, a 17-year-old high school senior, were their pride and joy. One evening, the family gathered for a lavish dinner to celebrate David's promotion. The house was alive with laughter, music, and the aroma of jollof rice and fried plantains. Femi raised a glass, his voice booming with pride. Femi said proudly, "To David, my firstborn, the man of the house when I'm not around. You've made us proud, son." The family cheered, clinking glasses. But as the night wore on, Femi's phone buzzed incessantly. He excused himself multiple times, his voice hushed and tense as he took calls in the hallway. Femi whispers in a nervous voice, "Not now. I'll call you back." Tola noticed his distant behavior but brushed it off, attributing it to work stress. Later that night, as Tola scrolled through her emails, one subject line caught her eye. "You deserve to know the truth." Her heart raced as she opened it. "No. This can't be true," Tola whispered, her voice barely audible. Tola's hands trembled as she clicked on the attachments. The first photo showed Femi with a woman and a teenage girl who bore a striking resemblance to Timi. More photos followed, Femi at the girls' school event. Femi laughing with the woman at what seemed like a family gathering. Tola's stomach churned. Tola said angrily to herself, "How could he do this to us?" Over the next few days, Tola hired a private investigator. What she discovered shattered her world. The woman, Linda, was not just Femi's mistress, she was his first wife, and their marriage had never been legally dissolved. Their daughter, Faye, was just a few months younger than Timi. The investigator handed Tola a folder filled with evidence. Bank statements, school records, and even photos of Femi attending Faye's birthday parties. Investigator said in a calm and professional voice, "He's been supporting them for years, ma'am. It's all here." Tola's mind raced. How could Femi, the man she had loved and trusted for over 2 decades, betray her like this? Tola waited until the children were out of the house before confronting Femi. She threw the printed photos on the bed, her voice shaking with anger and desperation. Tola shouted furiously, "Explain this, Femi." Femi froze, his face pale. He stared at the photos, his hands trembling. Femi replied nervously, "Tola. Where did you get these?" Tola firmly and angrily answered, "Does it matter? What matters is that you've been lying to me for years." "Who is she, Femi? Who is this girl?" Femi sat heavily on the bed, his head in his hands. His voice broke as he admitted the truth. Femi said with remorse, "Her name is Faye. She's my daughter." Tola, clearly heartbroken, shouted, "Your daughter? How could you? How long has this been going on?" Femi replied guiltily, 15 years. "I never meant to hurt you, Tola. I was young, foolish." Tola screamed, 15 years? You've been living a double life for 15 years, and you never thought to tell me? What about our children, Femi? What about Timi?" Just then, Timi appeared at the door, his face pale with shock. His voice trembled as he spoke. Timi said shakily, "Dad. Is it true? Do you have another family?" Femi couldn't answer. He looked down, unable to meet his son's eyes. Tola collapsed into a chair, tears streaming down her face. In that moment, the perfect family shattered into a million pieces. The revelation tore the family apart. David, the eldest, tried to hold everyone together, but his anger simmered beneath the surface. Anna, empathetic and heartbroken, became the mediator, while Timi struggled the most. He felt betrayed, questioning his identity and his place in the family. One evening, unable to contain his emotions, Timi reached out to Faye. Timi said hesitantly over the phone, "Faye. I don't know what to say, but I think we should talk." Her response came almost immediately, "I've been waiting for this." They met at a quiet cafe. When Timi saw her, he nearly gasped, she looked so much like him. Faye said calmly, I know you hate me. Timi replied honestly, I don't. I just don't understand any of this. Faye said reassuringly, me neither. But I know one thing, none of this is our fault. Timi nodded slowly, his expression softening, then said thoughtfully. Maybe you're right. The stress of the situation took a toll on Femi. One evening, he collapsed at work and was rushed to the hospital. The doctors diagnosed him with a mild stroke, caused by stress and high blood pressure. Tola visited him in the hospital, her face a mix of anger and pity. Femi, weakened and remorseful, whispered. I'm sorry, Tola. I never wanted to hurt you or the children. Tola's response was cold but honest. You didn't just hurt us, Femi. You destroyed everything we built. The family began to rebuild, but the road to healing was rocky. Timi and Faye grew closer, bonding over their shared pain. David confronted Linda, who revealed her own struggles. Anna organized a family therapy session, forcing everyone to confront their feelings. At Timi's graduation, the family came together for the first time since the revelation. Faye sat beside Timi, and Tola and Linda shared a polite nod. It was a small step, but it was progress. As the graduation ceremony ended, back at home, Tola found a letter in her bag. It was from Femi, written before his stroke. She opened it, her hands trembling. She read, Dear Tola, if you're reading this, it means I've failed to make things right. There's one more secret I need to tell you. Faye isn't my only child. Linda and I have a son, too. His name is Kola, and he's been living abroad. I didn't know how to tell you, but I hope one day you can forgive me. Tola's face went pale as she read the letter. Just as she was about to crumple it, her phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. Meet me tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Cafe Neo. There's more you need to know. Kola. The next morning, Tola arrived at Cafe Neo, with David by her side. They spotted a young man sitting at a corner table, his resemblance to Femi unmistakable. He stood up as they approached, his expression a mix of nervousness and determination. Kola said nervously, Mrs. Adewale, I'm Kola. I'm sorry we're meeting under these circumstances. Tola answered firmly, What do you want from me? Kola replied in a serious tone, There's something you need to know. Femi wasn't just hiding us. He was hiding something much bigger. David said resolutely to his mom, We'll handle this, Mom, together. Months later, the Adewale family had rebuilt their lives. Femi's debts were settled, and the threat was gone. Timi and Faye were inseparable, and Linda and Tola had reached a mutual understanding. As Tola stood in the garden of their home, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. The secrets that had shattered their family had also forced them to rebuild, not as they were before, but as something stronger, something real.